to take care of ourselves. While we're in the front line and dealing with the day in and day out challenges, that will, if we don't take care of ourselves or take care of the team or even find a supported co-worker, a team leader, a TC, then we are going to drown. And that's the whole scope of this whole collaborative, how not to drown. So approximately 49% of the staff feel safe when speaking. 49% of the staff will get together to figure out a solution. Again, those are low numbers in statistics. About approximately 51% of the staff will discuss how they can prevent errors. So, they may be afraid of making a mistake. Or they may be afraid of acknowledging they have made a mistake. And so how would you know, the TL or TC or the administrative staff, of how to reach out and help you if you're not coming forward with your concerns? So approximately 53% of the staff will talk about their mistakes. Again, that's 1 out of 2. 5 out of 10 people will come forward. Approximately 56% of the staff will feel safe to take an interpersonal risk in our teams. So just mind you, day-to-day operation, we're so bombarded with information, overloaded with so many different tasks, from the moderate, difficult tasks to the most challenging tasks. And if you don't reach out, or if you don't say, hey, I need help, no one is going to notice, because we are all pulled in different directions. So the question is, how are we going to help our region become more of a safety culture, or promote safety culture in our region? So there are 3 concepts that we want to address today, and then we'll probably have other concepts to bring back in the future. But the first one is the concept of huddles, okay? Now, Tawana was mentioning, here we go. So what Ms. Lena was saying, that it might sound like it's the same premise as CQI, where there is PDSA, where you plan, you do, you study, and you act. Okay, so we gather our teams or our folks, collaborate with the purpose in mind to be able to plan ahead. We're going to want to be much more proactive instead of being reactive. And a lot of the crisis, last-minute things, we tend to have to be reactive. So think about how many times do we make mistakes when we're thrown into a crisis situation and we can't think, we're overwhelmed, we're in shock possibly, we're perplexed. How are we going to stop and think things through? How are we going to stop and ask for help, or ask for a solution, or collaborate? So this model promotes and advocates for us to be a lot more proactive, planning ahead. So the concept of huddles, there are some ground rules. Standing is better than sitting. So, it doesn't have to be a formal collaboration like what you all do when we come to a QPT, what we might do when we come to design team, or any other leadership meetings. It's very informal. Might want to keep it short, to the point, start and end on time, and obviously it's an informal discussion. Myself as a psychologist from day 1, I did not know I wanted to do a huddle. But see, when I come together with the team players, right before CFTN meetings, we are heading to a heated discussion, possibly. We're heading to a crisis situation, possibly. We don't know what to expect. What a great way to promote and decrease the level of stress, the level of tension, increase the predictability factor, and decrease the human error factor. But just through an email. Hey, this is what I typically do nowadays. I'll email that team leader or an FSW, hey, give me a call, let's get together before the CFTM. The conference meeting, we discuss what the nature of the situation is, we brainstorm, we look at options, treatment barriers. That quick and informal discussion that takes place before the formal CFTM has been very, very, very helpful. And I have to say, we have been able to be a lot more successful than if we all be thrown into a CFTM and not know what to
they brought it to us with the label as a small tested change. And that's something that I thought was critical about keeping it small. When I say small, I mean between 15 and 20 minutes. You don't want it to turn into a team meeting or things that you would discuss in my performance briefing. I would meet with my TLs and we would discuss things. And I kind of use it as the technique I took was like a SWOT analysis. Our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities. SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we would go, what went well this week, what are some things that we can work on, and we just take those concepts and I limit it to 15 minutes in order to take that information back and process it. And the next week we can debrief on it. We'll talk about that later. But what I strategically put my huddles Monday at 3 o'clock, and that's when Pat Green's second shift supervisor come on. That way, day shift and night shift can communicate. And the example that was on the board is that a couple weeks ago, the TBI did a treatment traffic study. And we had people that were going to be off the night shift. We had people from the day shift who were going to cover. So we were able to come together, collaborate. And as everybody knows, we did get a couple of youth that were tracking themselves. And, from the point that, we got everybody in place, from the point that we will call, we got 2 teenagers out of their place, I think within 5 hours, which was amazing. And that came out of the concept of the huddles. We had people in place, we had people waiting, and we were able to grab these kids, and we really didn't come across any hurdles. So that was my take from it, is keep it small and let your staff know that you are supportive of them. You don't want to turn into like I said, a team meeting or something that it doesn't have to be, because you have other opportunities to go there.
So what was your A SWOT?
SWOT.
OT.
Yeah. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Oh, okay.
And what I've noticed also, it increases communication among staff and leadership, and it makes them feel a lot more safer down, at the end of the day to speak up. We do have phone huddles. I know Ms. Lehman, Ms. Gaywood.
Yes. Okay, so with the phone huddles, my supervisor was already doing phone huddles with us, her team leaders. But after the first collaborative meeting, I came back and did a phone huddle with my team. On Monday mornings, everybody called this number, we called in. I asked them, okay, what went wrong last week? We talk about that first. And then I asked them what went right, and then we kind of processed it and talk about it, share ideas. And it's been very helpful. The huddle call, because AWS has rolled out and everybody's not in the office, and it only lasts about 10-15 minutes. We did that and it was successful, so we're gonna keep doing it.
Any questions that any one of you may have, or any ideas you all want to share, would like to do moving forward with your teams or other folks in your area, and how you all going to maybe perhaps use huddles in your area? We just actually collaborated, started January 1st, they watched and since the meeting we've met in Nashville twice, and we have for the rest of the year. And the intent is for the whole region to really start using some of these concepts, and because we will increase our culture will be a lot more safe at the end of the day. We'll be able to communicate with each other a lot more frequently and reduce the likelihood of human error. Any other ideas? Thoughts? Okay, so we're going to move on to the next concept. Debriefing comes from the learning organization model, and it's reflected in nature. And actually, Ms. Gateway, her phone huddle, pretty much it's another example of being reflective and looking back at what's happening recently, what has happened in your area. And so these are some of the questions that you all may want to ask. What went wrong? And it's not like we're going to be punitive or it's going to be a adversary. We want to be supportive, and we want to find out. So if we know what kind of information, what are some of the things we need to look at, then we can go and then say, what did we do well? So we look at areas for improvement, so we can then highlight our areas of strength, and then hopefully we might want to then explore what we can do differently next, moving forward. So there is room for growth. There is room for us to feel safe with our supervisor, with our coworkers, for us to communicate openly. So that, in itself, the debriefings. One example I have is that, and Ms. Lehman has other examples, is like when we do the COE evaluation, I look at those as debriefings. They do an in-depth psychological, and then we come to a table and we debrief about the findings, areas of weakness, area for improvement, and treatment recommendations. What can we do differently moving forward to help our children and their families? Ms. Lehman has another example of debriefing.
My example for debriefing actually occurred before we actually went for the training. I had a team, what I call our QPT group, which is our large group meeting, all case managers, all team leaders coming together. And so we decided as a leadership group that we would have individual huddles of the groups as they came together. So what we did was brought data to the table and look at our soft spots. We call them our soft spots. That's where we weren't performing as well as we need to. We're not meeting the benchmark, so kind of what went wrong. And that data is also showing where we're performing well, meeting or exceeding the benchmark. So we reviewed that as well. But the important piece to the debriefing was determining how we're going to move forward, what steps we're going to take, and the process for doing that. So in my next meeting with the team leaders, their individual meeting, they will be bringing me their next steps as to how their team plans to improve their own numbers. So, and as I said, that actually happened before we went to the training. And so now we're going to coin it as our debriefing. And we'll do that every so often. Come to the table, look at the numbers, decide what it is we need to do to improve. And this is just, we're talking about the culture, and it's really hard to be on list for case managers. It's hard for team leaders to be on list. How can we work through that and get to a point where we're all working to improve?
That's great. I know one thing that Tawana's group is doing, and I thought it was impressive, is that they have developed a team goal statement. They've defined what they want to look like and how they want to perform in the region, and they've designed a statement that they're not only saying when they're together, but in every, opportunity that they can to remind themselves of what their goal is.
The short, there's a 2.5 line statement, but the short of it is managing for success. That's what it is, managing for success.
Any other thoughts or comments or questions about debriefings before we move on to our last concept? Our last concept is self-care. Ooh,
Very
I had to step it up when I got here at the CS. Ooh, I really have to. Either I would burn out and leave, or swim and move forward and survive. And so self-care was very, very important for me to not only for longevity, I would say. Now we do have an audio that we want to present for y'all. It's very quick. I know that we're getting close to the end. It's very short, but it'll demonstrate how important it is for us to think how to take care of ourselves at the end of the day.
So disclaimer, before we watch the video, here's a short film. There may be some language that you may not agree with and some things that are gonna take place that may be a little bit disturbing. So feel free to exit for about 2 or 3 minutes if you don't feel like you can hear this.
said police were sent out on a domestic, and they think that the kid, a boy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. They think he was hit by somebody. He's got a black eye.
I'll go out with the police today. Oh, John, when are we getting that new worker?
Well, it could be a while.
Did you talk to Arnold?
Yes, I met with him yesterday. He said there's just no one available. All the Surrey offices are short, and I'm doing what I can.
Well, South got a new worker last week.
I was told that South is in a crisis.
What, they need somebody to get their umbrella drinks for them?
I'm just telling you what I was told.
Tanya,
A whole week? Why? I was sick. This is bullshit. I don't know what's going on. I was sick. Roger's
Tanya,
forgetting who
please,
I
can you just be
am.
calm?
No, you fucking listen to me. I want to see him today.
That's impossible, Ashley. We've been through this 1,000 times.
Why did you take away my kids?
Ashley, don't.
It feels sometimes like killing myself. And it's your fault. Yeah, sure. What do you care? I gotta see him today. I need to see him. He needs to see his mother.
Tanya.
All you care about is your
We've
paycheck.
been through this, Tanya. Listen, we can't make it work this
You're all
time.
fucking liars.
We're not lying, Tanya.
Fuck you, bitch.
Still need those 42
That's
charges
impossible.
right now, so don't scoop any kids today.
Hey, Sam.
It's Gina. She started slashing again.
Oh, good.
I know. Adam found her last night in the bathroom, cutting herself with one of his razor blades. There was blood all over the bathroom. He was afraid it might be a suicide attempt, so we took her to emergency. It was just superficial, though. She's okay.
So it wasn't suicide.
No, it wasn't. I talked to her this morning. She says it just makes her feel good. She says it's release. It's weird. I don't know.
She's messed up. Look, we gotta get her into therapy, Sam. Can you send a report?
Okay, I gotta run. You sound stressed out. You okay?
Any thoughts? Any comments? It's serious stuff. Stress, we can't undermine the impact of stress.
Not at all.
Well, I always, this is like the time I watch that little video clip, and it's just, I stay emotional about it, because as I was going through school in my late 20s and finish up my doctorate degree, I did end up being burned out. I was working, almost 3/4 of the time, plus doing full-time schooling, so this hits home. I know what burnout looks like. So, and for any one of us to recover from burnout, it takes quite a while. And it's serious stuff. So, when I first started at DCS, I did pull a lot of long hours. And I still do, but now I'm much more balanced. But at one point I was concerned, having chest pains. I didn't take that lightly. What I did, I stepped it up in my self-care. So on that note, when you take care of yourself, you maximize your potential and your team's potential in the best interest at the end of the day of our children and their families. And not only their families, but then you go home and not only you're going to be able to reach your potential as a wife, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as an aunt, community participant, as a worker. I mean, it's all these roles you're going to be able to maximize, but that you've got to start taking care of yourself. So anyways, there are 3 suggestions, which I'm trying to work on one at a time. But mindful, being mindful, having this mindful moment. We are great at what we do because we multitask. We know that, and we're pulling different directions. But try to be more mindful and perhaps complete one activity at a time. That's a challenge for me, because I can do 3 or 4 things at the same time. not miss a beat. But is that healthy at the end of the day? That's a question that you can only answer. Engage in specific routines. The psychologist and COE director in Nashville, Nate Cumberland, kind of every time I see him, he goes, something, a golden nugget to share with me. And this was one of them, specific routine during the day. Don't underestimate when you add some predictability to your day, which is a routine, that decreases the level of stress. And for me, I already know that when I go into my desktop or my, on my computer, I'm gonna be checking the instant reviews first, and I go down to my little checklist. That gives me a sense of predictability, because I know at the end of the day, my day looks completely different than I thought it would look like. Monday was a perfect example. It was like a blink of an eye. Wow, I just left my house. I'm here again. What happened? I mean, it was one activity after the next. It was fast-paced. So if I can give a sense of predictability to my day by giving myself a specific routines, that will decrease my level of stress. So take a short walk. I know there's 30-minute wellness that we get approved by our supervisor. Take a little short walk, 30 minutes. Step away from your desk or for what you're doing. John, the psychologist, the COE, he was like, you engage and then you disengage. You engage in an activity and you disengage. I mean, if you can do that periodically, that will alleviate the impact of stress at the end of the day. This one is another suggestion, having a tech-free zone. Now, I assure you this is going to be very difficult for me to do because I have two phones, and I'm very active in both. And I'm electronically connected, as you all know, even as I'm in Florida, I am quite connected to the region. But it's healthy to be able to be mindful when you're sitting next to your child, or when you're sitting next to your husband, or a family, or you're in a social gathering. Put away your phone. I know that we have to be disconnected during operation hours, but even your lunch hour, I am guilty of this. I will pick up the phone if I have to. But I've also dreamt about, well, maybe I should put a reply message, get back to me in 30 minutes. But I mean, they can leave you a message and get back to you right after you finish with lunch. I'm sure that's okay, but at least you're not multitasking while you're eating at lunch. So, and other examples would be meditation, music, and coloring. And Miss Leland can share with you the impact of coloring that it's had on her. And she calls it, I was free-spirited.
You don't put that on there. You are liars.
Okay, I'll take it, Mike.
Okay, coloring. We were given these beautiful little sheets. And in fact, yesterday when Dr. Morales came in to our meeting, our planning meeting, she handed me one, and it was the same one that you have today, and I started working on it immediately. It does help to relieve stress. And I thought, this is the most wonderful thing in the world, because I got 3-4 people right here in this group fighting over pencils. And Terry, the ones that have the pen mark on are mine, I want them back. But they gave us these. Anybody who knows me knows that I love a peacock, and I was all over that room on breaks trying to get stuff to finish my picture. But at the same time, I was able to attend to the training, to hear what was going on, and be relaxed. We just had a wonderful training day. I have, different hair. Okay, it is what it is. So, painting is a way to relax. As we were in the room, Ariel Fair walked by and she said, "Oh, you're coloring." And she gave this wonderful story about being on a cruise with her coloring book and sitting on the deck just with the ocean in front of her, sun coming down and her coloring book, and she said it was the best part of her coloring. So, and just new thing that we're gonna be doing. So Maureen, Tammy, Angela, it is able, we are able to listen and attend while we gotta put them phones away though.
To add to that, so when we were at the training, not only did we
Stop bringing my
have
bike in here and ride it then.
trainings, but they gave us all of this kinetic scene. And I don't know if you guys have ever played with kinetic scene. It is the best, most relaxing thing you could possibly ever do. I don't have any. It's just it's sand that it's kind of like magnetic sand. It foams, it forms like Play-Doh, but it's sand and it's not gritty. It doesn't get dirty and it doesn't dry out. So it was just like heavy. Very fun.
Any other ideas that you all have found helpful to help you distress?
Ride your bike.
Huh?
I'm gonna start bringing my bike to work. Yeah, to see. I'm just gonna bring it, just ride it on.
To the next CFTO.
Bike on over to 3rd Street. Come on over to corporate on the interstate.
Listening to music.
In traffic, I hope.
On the
Any other
interstate.
ideas?
Heavy traffic.
I can dump it.
It's not data, it's not a new initiative, it's just us focusing and connecting. And I've been hearing a lot over the last year about adult coloring, and Dr. Morales has been talking to me about it for months and months and months, and I'm not just against her. It's almost nice to be given permission, you know, as an adult to partake and to participate. And I looked over at Regina about a half hour ago, and she was like, I said, well, let me try that. So I started coloring, but you, like Juan said, I never stopped listening, and I know when to look up and have eye contact. Because when there's a speaker, we need to be attentive. So we don't want to misunderstand that we're not being attentive. So it's nice to nod and look up every once in a while, but it is different, and it is, you know, relaxing and nice. So I really like the fact that you brought this to us as leaders and members of the region, and that we're, you know, the staff has permission to do something and believe, and sometimes during work, and it doesn't interfere, it helps us to know whatever.
Well, it's one of those things, I've been doing it for a really long time.
Coloring,
I have hundreds of colored pencils. I mean, you know, I started at college with the colored pencil, then I put it off for a while, and I recently rediscovered it again. I've got, you know, 15, 20 books that I'm like, but I was almost embarrassed to admit it to anybody, you know, but now that it's becoming, again, it's becoming acceptable and more popular, it's like, I'm gonna bring some in and copy pages and hand them out. You know, have a little resource area for everybody, you know. Start thinking we could have like a little resource area, you know.
And don't underestimate the Google. I mean, I Googled this page and this image, saved it to my computer, downloaded it, and printed it off. Yeah. So, I have 2 more concepts real quick so we can wrap it up. Reframing has an impact on a personal level, and it's really learning to turn a negative situation to much more positively, or at least looking at the positive aspect of it. And I love Miss Leland's times of being a wedding planner, and she has a real quick anecdote that she'll like to share when she was a wedding planner and how she reframed the challenges of some of the brides that she encountered.
I think when she said quick, she was talking to me. I'm gonna tell her quick too. But real briefly, once had a hobby before I had bad knees of wedding planning. I just did it for a hobby. You have people come to you, raise your hand if you planned a wedding.
I have planned a wedding, yeah.
Okay, so you pretty much know the stressful, especially if you're a bride, all the parts rolling around in your head, you want these wonderful, fantastic, you know, wedding, $30,000. So I helped people reframe and think about, what was absolutely necessary, what they had to have, what was affordable, what you needed to do first, and those things that could wait. So it's kind of like that payment plan, you pay for the venue, you get the church, and then all the rest of it will come together. So that was kind of my when I thought about this activity and getting people to refocus and take it one step at a time.
The last concept is monitor your reactivity level. And Ms. Butler is going to go ahead and demonstrate of how we can visually remind ourselves of how to distress before going into a hidden discussion or a challenging situation.
Okay, so the ball represents how work makes us feel. And it represents also
What were you thinking?
How we feel before we even come to work. So you may have different kind of emotions going on. Some of the same situations our families deal with, we deal with them also. So I'm going to give an example of where my ball's been for the past couple of weeks.
That's all right.
Before I do that, know that your ball can travel up and your ball can travel down. Okay? And around, and sometimes you may want to throw your ball or drop your ball. But when we want to drop our ball, that's when we become disengaged or when we're starting to avoid things. And then when our ball is all the way up, when we want to throw our ball, that's when we're frustrated, we're overwhelmed, those kind of feelings. So it's best to recognize what feeling you're having, give it a name, refocus, okay? So let me talk about my last couple of weeks with the ball, just to give a demonstration. I had a worker who was in the hospital. She's been off work for a couple of weeks. And so we know work goes on. Her kids had to be seen. She had meetings already planned that I had to do a permanency plan meeting. I did some visits and everything else. So my ball was way up there and I was feeling overwhelmed. I was thinking about stuff going on at home. I got a sick sister and then all this work stuff was going on. So then I just had to stop. Yes. So yes, that's another part of this. Way up there. So then I just had to refocus. I had to regroup. I had to breathe, start writing down stuff. And then, Tawana don't know, but yesterday, she helped brought my ball down. She said, you know what? Because that same worker, she came to work this past Wednesday, but then she's still not the best. So she called off yesterday and today. And so Tawana said, well, I'll go do some visits. And then she said, my car goes all over Memphis. I said, okay. And then I started delegating my other staff members, to do visits. You go here, you go there. And so my ball came right here. And they said it's best to balance your ball between your head and your heart. Keep your ball here at all times. And so, Tremaine.
So before we got this concept at the training, I wanted to add that before I experienced the training, my ball is always here. And so when I come in and talk to my supervisor, not knowing that they had actually put this into, something concrete, I'd come in and she could tell by the way I would say good morning if I was getting ready to have a good moment, bad moment. And all of a sudden she would just ask me something completely irrelevant off the wall. And before you knew it, my ball would come down. And we keep talking and I'd sit down and I'd sit at my computer and I'd start working. And before I knew it, my ball was right here. And I didn't know that that's what she was doing. And I tell it to her all the time. I said, you have this funny way of bringing me way back down. And she does it really quick without even really, without me understanding or even knowing that that's what she's doing. And I wanted to point that out because she was already implementing this before we had this example when we went to the training. So.
One thing they pointed out, emails. We all can get the email that send it ball. So as Dr. Ralph was saying, take time to disconnect. Bring your ball down. Bring it down. And bring it down.
some information to help them balance life. Just simple things. So look at it. Do it. Implement it. Take time out for yourself.